Okay. Here we go. Okay, Ruby, please don't touch that. Watch out, okay? Thanks.
Sorry.
Okay. Alright, step 2. Here's what I've done. I've made runnier icing. Now I'm just going to warn everybody that this is kind of how you have to hold it because it will run right out. One way to... Ruby, can you just back off a little bit? To store this, if you want to do it this way, is fill a drinking glass, well, put in the bottom some paper towel, and then when you stick it down in, it will support it and hold it in place. But I'm going to show you 2 different ways. One is this is flooding it with looser icing. Ready? Ruby, please stop. You're shaking everything. Can you move away a little bit, please? Thank you. Ruby, stop! I've asked you to stop. Don't do that. Okay. First, make sure you get your icing is always practice a little bit on your edge. Okay. And you just flood it in.
Wow.
It's looser. And what I find helpful,
That is so cool.
thanks, hon, is without really pressing, just take your piping bag and your tip and draw it close to the edge. It will, because it's loose, but you see it's not super runny. I mean, it will close up right to the edges if you help it a little bit. And this part is definitely the more time-consuming aspect of it. And it takes some patience and some practice to get it to be the right groups. Stop, honey. Gosh. I'm in the middle of filming it. Ruby.
I'm just sitting down.
Please don't put your hand in front of the camera again. Okay. I'm going to put this down so you guys can see. Okay. See? Really smooth. Here is the other way you can do it.
Wow.
Just so you know, you don't need to have, elaborate things to make this work. I'm going to use this craft stick because it's what I had, what I was mixing with. Take your cookie. It's easier to do this. Well, I want to make a spot for this. I don't know if I can while I'm doing this. Take your icing. Take anything, knife, plastic spoon, whatever, and just dollop it in the middle.
Oh, Mom. Mom, you said you were doing this with me.
Not today, I'm not. And then just take your edge of whatever you're using.
I like to watch you.
Butter knife. Okay, Ruby, everyone's listening to your voice in the middle of what I'm trying to say, and they cannot hear everything that I'm trying to say. And honestly, people, doing it this way is kind of faster and a little bit less stressful, I find. You'll see that, if you make the icing even thinner and you want to use a piping bag, it'll smooth in. But you see, perfect. But I like to have a little bit of icing on there, I like it to be at least as thick as the border. So that's the way. I recommend doing it that way. I think it's much faster and it's much less messy. Ruby, do not go under the table. Ruby!
Get out here right now.
Sorry about that. It's less stressful. I think it goes a lot faster just to take it out of a bowl. Definitely you need to pipe the edge. But I will also say this. When I first started making these cookies, like 10 years ago, I didn't have piping bags and I didn't know about that. And I just made it kind of a little bit in between consistency, between the thinner and the thicker, and used a knife and smoothed it out. Obviously not doing a complicated shape. Start with the circle. My other tip is this. This is really important. You see how my outline is not to the edge of the cookie, it is just in from the cookie. Key. If you go to the edge, it's going to fall over the, you're not going to end up with a smooth shape. So you're really outlining the shape with, a little bit of space in between. Alright, those are my tips. You can attempt this at home. Check.